All right, let's talk about Joe Schoen here. You all mentioned about the Giants GM being on the Bleav in Giants podcast there. Um, so I caught an interesting quote there with him. And apparently he's happy with the depth in the offensive line. I thought that was really interesting there. He said, yeah, that's why we signed Hudson in the offseason. We drafted Bowe, so we have some depth there. So we're happy with our third and fourth tackle. So again, you hate to have to do that. We would really love Andrew Thomas to be out there all 17 games, but you have to protect yourself. And so, there's another area where we added some depth. Guys, am I crazy? I don't really think we added that great depth at this position. Interesting, too, that he didn't mention Stone Forsythe in that whole thing. I really thought that was an interesting omission on his part, I should say. But let's honestly look at what we got at tackle. And that's obviously O-line is what he had mentioned. He was happy with the depth he brought in. But the big thing was tackle. And the big thing, let's be honest, was left tackle. Because the concern is Andrew Thomas has been injured a lot. And when he goes down, it's a completely different offensive line. And when he goes down, bad things have happened to the Giants. So left tackle. Here's who you got now. You got Joshua Zudo, we've had obviously for years, so no change there. You got James Hudson III, who he mentioned there specifically by name, but a guy that, again, he's started for the Browns. He's been a swing tackle for them. He hasn't exactly been great when he's gotten the chance to play, though. So you basically just traded Evan Neal for him, who also hasn't looked great when he's gotten the chance to play. Because Evan Neal's now a guard. So that's what you did. Then you go ahead and you got Stone Forsythe from the Seahawks, who is, again, the guy who just played horribly. He's got some experience, yeah, but he played horribly when he got the experience. And then you add Marcus Bowe, who we've said into this draft even that he is not a tackle. He needs to move into guard. He's too small to play tackle. So I can't sit there and say we got some great depth now at tackle, guys. Like, you name me one of those guys that you're confident if Andrew Thomas goes down can go play left tackle right now. Or that you're confident Jermaine Illuminor can move over to left tackle, one of these guys, and take right tackle even. I don't see it. I got guys who struggled elsewhere. Why would I trust that as great depth all of a sudden? Again, you had to do something. You at least got some guys with NFL experience. Like, we've been pulling people off couches the last couple of years, so I guess it's better than we've had. But really, is that any of those guys give you any confidence whatsoever? Because it's not giving me any confidence. I don't look at those guys and go, oh, thank God we got, Stone Forsythe. Ooh, good to go at tackle now. This is the year for Josh Azudu. James Hudson starting in Cleveland, but we got him here. It'd be great here. Like, this is not a place that typically fixes players. The Giants typically are the opposite, where players leave this team and get better. So we're bringing in people that have been bad elsewhere and saying we brought in depth. That's not depth. It's an improvement. I'm not trying to downplay it 100% and say we did nothing. We did stuff. We did stuff. But you can't sit there and say that's an improvement over what you should have. You got players that were bad, absolutely bad. And let's see. Jay says, if James Hudson blocks O'Shane Ximines, is that like Googling Google, like a black hole? What? What is he? And then Deb says, you're right you're right, Drew, on O-line. Another position that worries me is wide receiver. If Neighbors goes down, who takes his place? I'll say this. If Neighbors goes down, you're looking at probably just Slayton is going to have to step up. Wan'Dale Robinson is going to have to get the ball more than 3-4 yards down the field. I don't think that helps us, obviously. I don't want to downplay that. But I don't think losing Neighbors is as bad as losing Andrew Thomas. And no, that's almost comes off as disrespectful to neighbors because he's amazing talent and probably the best offensive player we have on this team right now. So I don't mean it as anything negative in that. I just trust that those guys to back him up more than I trust these guys to back up Thomas. Like, if you had to say who's the MVP of the offense, it's Neighbors. You had to say who's the player you can least afford to lose, it's Thomas, if that makes sense. Jay says, yeah, I don't care about PFF much, but Hudson PFF is lower than the speed limit in the city. Yeah, it's bad. And if you watch the tape, it's bad. You know, it's we've seen it before. Jay said, DeWandale's yards per catch average more or less than the tush pushes. Serious question. No, his depth of target practically was, though. His depth of target. And that's not necessarily him controlling that. That's the offense putting him in that position. 3.8 yards. That's bad. You can't expect a guy to put up a lot of yards with that. So, all right.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.